Yo, what's going on, guys? Here with Griffin today. He just got back from the games as the demo team athlete. You recovered yet?
More so joints than are the things that feel the worst. But
Yeah.
muscle wise, you're fine after a couple days.
Yeah, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
You had a pretty gnarly 3 weeks of training leading up to it too.
Yeah, the most volume I think I've ever done every day.
Yeah.
It was exactly 20 days. I think we took a day off, maybe 2 in there.
There's like 2 Sundays, right?
Yeah, 2 Sundays, and I worked out on Thursdays.
Yeah. Because you guys had swim stuff and then you just did something, right?
Yeah,
like a little
skill work, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw on the Instagram, but we had them doing some pretty disgusting workouts. I'm bummed that they didn't have you guys climb the rope with the backpack there, though.
Yeah.
Do those
I'll contact GoRuck and be like, guys, you should have forced them to use your bag after we did at Simmy's. Because honestly, the worst one was the one that you made me take the 2 100-pound dumbbells and lunge with it with the backpack on.
Yeah, that was stupid, but
I'm down for stupid.
It's like when you go into the games, you have to like train, or like going to the games, or like going to train for the games. Like you have to do some dumb stuff because you just don't know what's gonna happen there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you held up pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah. How was all the demo team stuff? So you were captain this year too.
I was. Yeah, it was different. A lot more responsibility. Now I know what Allison Scuds had to deal with James Sprague last year. Someone told, I don't remember who it was, told Ashley Wozni she was the James Sprague of the group.
Oh, damn.
And everyone was like, that's not a compliment.
Wait, did she take it as a compliment at first? Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
She didn't know how to take it, and everyone was like, that's not what you want to hear.
Dang.
And then she's like, oh, no, you know what? I'm going to take it. James is a very positive guy. I'm like, yeah, he is.
He is. That's funny. So what was the difference between like captain and just being on the team? Were you just having to like organize way more shit, or?
Yeah, so essentially I'm the lead way into talking to the team from HQ, and we have like a manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so Lucas, who we got to work with last year. He's great. He's phenomenal. He basically relays anything that is coming from the top to us.
Okay.
Because they're like Boz is crazy busy all the time, right? So like they have meetings every day at the end of their day, so they're there longer than us.
Yeah.
And then they'll basically let him know like, hey, this is the schedule for tomorrow. This is where we need the demo team. This is briefings, meetings, training, whatever's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And my job is to make sure that we're there, ready to go on time, early.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be early before your early time,
Yeah.
which I don't think the demo team just did not get at all. They're like, wait, why do we have to be there at 7 if it says we have to be there at 7:30? I'm like, you don't understand. 15 minutes early is on time. You have to be early for our on time.
Yeah.
Like, because also, like, at any point they call you and you're like, you got to go. Like, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't get caught off guard. I think a couple of them got caught off guard once.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, we need you. Like, wait, what the fuck? We got to do something. Like, yeah, we have stuff to do. So, like, part of it is, like, you have to be prepared at all times for them to just be like, hey, we need you to do something.
Okay.
And you need to be there immediately. It's military style. Like, right, you need to be there as fast as you can and be prepared to change up anything. So it was a lot more responsibility, which I don't mind doing that, especially like that's fine. It's just organizing and structuring. And then, for instance, like we would have like our very first workout, which was the team big deadlift bar, P-bar, dip, and sandbag squat workout that we did Saturday morning. Very first one. And they basically are like, all right, this is the workout.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Griff, figure out who's doing the workout.
Gotcha.
Right? So then I'm also used to it from like last year and know like, okay, when we're done with this, we're immediately going into another workout.
Yeah.
No, like they'll be like, take your time. Like Boz does mean this. Take your time, make sure you're recovered, and then we're going to go outside and go do another workout. Yeah. But it's very much like, take your time, when you recover,
yeah,
but hurry the fuck up.
When your heart rate's below 120 beats per minute, you're going again.
Yeah, you're right, right. And then everyone's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I warned y'all. We're here. We're going. So like Saturday was a good day. It was a long day. You know, you get up. We had to be there, I think, like at 8. But that means like you need to be ready to go. Even though it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna start times 9 a.m. No, it's not. Our start time ended up being like 8:15.
45 minutes earlier than what they had scheduled
right?
for you guys.
Yeah, so like I made sure we were there at like 7:30, and they were like, well, they hated me on day one. And I was like, you guys don't understand. Start warming up. Be prepared. We were there before anybody got there on Saturday.
Yeah.
I feel like I did my job well.
Yeah.
And like we were ready to go, but then like it was like, all right, we're gonna go outside. We're gonna start. Like we went until I don't know 2, something like that.
Yeah. And I was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, just going,
going.
going. You have a 1-hour lunch break.
30-minute lunch break.
And then here we go again, right? So then you're like, ooh, how much do I eat? Yeah, so it was basically just keeping all these guys on task, prepared at all times. And it just, as the week goes on, not everyone is going to be as on point all the time, especially as it's a long week. You're there for 10 days.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it is just like making everybody have a good time, making sure the morale of the team is good.
Yeah.
Because by the end of it, a lot of times they're like, I just don't want to do this.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you signed up for this shit, so you better want to kind of at least fake like you want to do it.
Yeah, right.
You can't have like that's also part of it. You're like a show dog in a sense, right? You need like when you're in the public and you're doing stuff, like you have to be present, and not be in this like I don't want to be here like attitude. You can't do that, so you have to fake it. So I'm not a person that likes talking to people and making them be like, yeah, you got to be happy, and because that's not my personality. I'm just here to do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good to get out of your comfort zone and fix that shit.
For sure. It helps you grow as a person at least. Yeah. That's I wonder how if it differs at all from like years past, because like it seemed like they had the demo team like come in and test the workouts. Like in 2016 when I was at the games, they would have the demo team come in and test the workouts like I could be getting this wrong, but like only a week ahead of time. Like they showed up on maybe like Monday, and then he was having them do like the full team workouts like on the spot sometimes. And I don't know if that was like, we haven't tested this, let's just see, or we tested it months ago, let's see the demo team do it. But it sounds like you guys are like doing all of it now ahead of time, and then like they adjust things and then go, and then it's like prepped for the actual weekend. Is that
Yes. So I would say, so like between last year and this year, it's very similar.
Yeah.
I felt like because this year the games got moved up a day, so instead of last year it started on Wednesday, the Masters started on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Felt a little bit more pressed.
Okay.
Than it did the year before.
Okay.
So I felt that I think everything was put out there and organized, but we didn't test every single workout. It was close to like it, or we touched on at least a piece of it if we didn't do the whole workout.
Oh, okay.
But there was a couple workouts that like really needed a lot of refining.
Yeah.
And it was just very, very aggressively like, hey, we got to get this done and figure it out. And then it's probably good that we didn't know the final decision after we had run 6 different versions of a workout or whatever.
Right.
But I was like, there's so much to go on that they have to make the decision and move on really quick. Mm-hmm. And I think that part could be more organized and structured. Maybe have the demo team come out an extra day earlier. Just to give a little bit more time. But a lot of it, people are like, oh yeah, that sounds so easy. You go out there a week earlier. Well, okay, that's more money. And then also you have to get Rogue to get there, and you have to be able to use the facility. Yeah. And like just trying to organize everything is crazy. Nobody understands how much it takes to do this.
The logistics of those things are just wild.
I just think you could test some of the pieces early on and get those out of the way. So the bike course, which we didn't go do an hour bike ride. Right. I mean, we were out there probably for an hour, but we didn't do like just an AMRAP for 60 minutes or whatever. Right. We did we tested the track before it was like the grass was cut and everything. So like we had like little gas flags in the ground.
Okay.
So like it looked nothing like what it did when everyone raced.
Yeah, where they actually set up like barriers and stuff like that.
So yeah, it was fun. It was funny, but that was a good time. And then like that could have been done early because assuming they would allow us on the grounds, but I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't. And that's just the problem. And you have to press your time to get this stuff in and get it done. But yeah, I mean, last year was the same in the sense of like we tested all this stuff, and then you have to get all the like North Park workouts done outside before all the athletes show up.
Yeah.
Even though people will show up and start walking around. I know some of y'all that have been doing it. Saw you. Rory. Yeah, Rory did see Rory saw Helena, the running track for it.
Oh, gotcha. He was trying to get some eyes on
Well, the campground for Mayhem's right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's on purpose or not? I don't know. But like, there's no way he would know the schedule of us running around unless someone's leaking information.
Gotcha.
I mean, it doesn't make that big of a difference to know your running track, but every little edge helps.
Right.
So, that is part of that is that's a problem. Last year, this one I won't name names, but some of the workouts got leaked.
Oh, okay.
From people, and a lot of people knew them and were able to practice them before the games. Before I even knew them, I didn't even know what we were doing in testing. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Was it the URL leak this time?
No. This one was a straight up like a person that was leaking stuff.
Yeah. It's gotta be so hard to keep that stuff under wraps though. Like you're dealing with like hundreds of people, or like maybe like 50 to 100 people that like
directly.
Yeah.
The problem is it's the people that are indirectly involved. So like
right.
I'll give an example. Last year, like Rosty's there every year.
Yeah.
And we're getting we finally get worked on, and they start talking to me about some workouts that haven't been released.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But we don't know all the workouts either, so maybe you're right. And I know exactly what this person's talking about.
Yeah.
How the fuck does this person know?
Yeah.
Then I realized, we were out at Rogue and when they're testing, and I'm like,
oh,
so you guys are leaking stuff.
Yeah.
So whether they're they see it or they're hearing it when they're testing stuff, and obviously those aren't the full workouts, but
right.
There's just the indirect people that hear something that start giving tips and get it away. And it's it's literally impossible to keep that away. But that's one reason which I do like that we don't know what we're doing till we show up and Bob's like, whiteboard, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Show up day of.
Yeah, day of.
Yeah.
We don't so I had a schedule for the week, and it's testing from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Testing from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it just says North Park Coliseum Rogue testing area.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else.
Right.
I don't know how many workouts that is. I have no idea. And then it's not like, hey, we show up and it's like, this is all we're testing for the day. It's just like a class where you show up, write it on the whiteboard,
and
here it is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like the old school CrossFit. It's cool. But I think the coolest thing about that part is just seeing Boz's face as he writes it. He's so excited about these workouts.
Yeah.
He's just I can't wait to see it. So just literally getting to see how excited he is about the workouts makes you actually be all right, this is gonna be a good time.
This is gonna be sick. Yeah.
And then you get murdered.
Yeah. That's sweet. So what do you? Okay, I think one of the biggest questions that people have, and maybe there's some more info on this out yet. I haven't been scrounging around on social media, but what do you think happened to Medeiros day one?
Personally, I mean, I could be entirely wrong. Right. I just think a lot of the athletes underestimated the bike ride.
Yeah.
And
so when you were testing it, what pace were you guys going? Were you just you just got?
I think the fastest lap we did. Granted, it was different. Until they cut the grass down,
right?
Made everything was around 7 minutes, and these guys were holding 6.5 minute bike.
So 30 seconds faster than you guys. Your guys' fastest laps.
Yeah,
they were trying to hold that for.
And I think a big difference though, it wasn't necessarily the overall bike pace; it was the running.
Yeah.
When you got off,
the 200.
Because we when we were doing it, we're were just trotting on it.
Right.
And
They had to run.
you had to run. It was a race.
race.
And I don't think anyone thought like 40 minutes of just aggressive biking. It's different than being on a C2 bike.
Right.
Like you're having to adjust your gears, which if anybody's complaining about their bike having any issues, don't adjust your gears at the wrong time. Understand when to adjust your gears.
Were their chains falling off? I didn't see them.
I think a couple people's did, but they were adjusting it like in the middle of where they're supposed. You should adjust it right before it, so it can change.
Like they were adjusting as they're like coming around a corner. Or something
yeah,
like
or
that,
like in the hill, like already like and it bumpy and like it's probably gonna pop off. Do it before. Be prepared before your turn. Before you go into like that change. Or just don't change it that much.
Yeah. Well, I think I saw a video like Rich was like, because he's doing like all that crit stuff right now, and he was like, you live a gear below and a gear above, like where your set pace is, and like you don't move much outside of that.
Yep.
Which makes sense. I mean, there's not a lot of straightaways on that course.
No, there was 2, maybe 3 places where you could do that, where you could really try and like pass somebody like on the dirt and versus the grass.
Yeah.
And then so like Madero's obviously got in a wreck.
Yeah.
I never even watched the footage. I don't know if it was him or Lazar that like caused the problem.
Okay. I don't even know if it was on the live stream, honestly. I heard afterwards that he got in a wreck. Or like 30 minutes into the live stream. So
yeah, I think it was relatively early on.
Okay.
And that means he had to try to fight back, and in that workout, you can't fight back.
Yeah. We're actually we're running a camp right now. We're talking about this like if you get bunched up and like a lot of time in CrossFit races you have to come out hot. And then if you don't, you're in the back of the pack trying to come up to the front, and that's just that much more energy. So if you have a crash early on in that race, you're expending so much more energy to try and catch up to the lead pack that it's like you can probably tank yourself very easily if you try and do that.
Yeah, so the way they started was like a rolling start.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out, which is funny, is we had like lines of 4 or 5 people just to mock it, right? There was probably four lines of 4 people.
This is you guys testing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just trying to figure out how the start would work. And Boz was like the lead biker, and then you had your lanes behind to start. And we would ride until he like rode off or whatever, and we got to the point. And I was like, this won't work, guys. Like everyone's going to creep up. So I was like, just allow it.
Yeah.
Just allow it. And then they were like, okay. So they ended up making it a little bit wider, the lane, to at least to start through there.
Okay.
Because I was like, people are going to do it. Yeah. And what are you going to do to tell them no?
Right.
Like, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't just like say, oh, false start, everybody go back to the start line.
Yeah. So they were like, right. So then we put the bigger people in back and started kind of bullying our way through there to see if it worked. Yeah. And it was... And it was okay, but like you had to be aggressive. And the thing is, like you had to be aggressive.
Yeah.
But not so aggressive that you wreck.
Yeah.
Because then you're done.
Right.
But if you're not aggressive and you're not up in the front, you've already said, I'm taking mid back of this race.
Right.
12, because you have to get in front of them.
Yeah.
And that like it made a massive difference. You have to hit the gas, get out in front, and then you literally group yourself with people. So the front leading group kept trading off who was in front. And
that was all people that had minus maybe Roman. I think that was all people that had done that crit race before, and they were like, hey, let's a lot of athletes realized like, hey, we should be in a group and trade off so we make it through this, and then we'll race at the end. Like everybody help each other. So you're not just falling back. Right. A lot of athletes, and that happened. I think that happened to Kelly Baker. Got in a wreck or something and had to or maybe she didn't get in a wreck and just didn't realize how hard you had to push for 40 minutes to be with, because Koski is. I don't think people realized how unbelievably good he is at riding a bike. Yeah. At one point, towards the end, it might have been like 4 minutes to go. He was sitting on his bike, no hands, looking at his watch, just chilling. See him. And I'm like, I hope everyone picked this guy to win because he's about to turn it on. Yeah. Roman tried to hit the gas early and just
you're outside your league on this one,
Yeah.
bud. Like, everybody is.
Yeah.
You are not beating him.
Right.
But Medeiros had to try to find its way back. Still couldn't.
Right.
You're screwed, and now your legs are blown.
That was one thing. They got Emma Lawson like on camera being like, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be on my legs. Like they're literally cramping right now. I didn't anticipate that.
So it looked like a lot of people got hurt in the pig chipper, which was next.
Yeah.
It's also very hot. Like, it's hot everywhere,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, it's hot. You just worked out really hard for 40 straight minutes. Okay, now we're going to go do a workout that's extremely demanding. And everyone's thinking, oh, the gymnastics volume's so high, my arms are going to get really tired. But they should be fine because we just rode a bike. Well, your arms get tired holding on like this.
Right.
When we tested a workout, I was complaining like my arms were blown up out here because
yeah.
of how much grip it was.
With a bunch of gymnastics.
With gymnastics and biking, yes. And so they did it for 40 minutes. Well, here we go into a workout that is high volume gymnastics, but it's so much more demanding on your legs than you think.
Right.
A lot of people were doing the pig flips, and on the then you had to go into 100 wall balls. And yeah, 100 wall balls is fine, but after all of that, if you didn't fuel properly, which a lot of them didn't do enough of, they ended up cramping in their quads, and they kept almost falling out.
Yeah.
And really struggled on the backside of that workout, and like the last 10 pig flips. Some of them were in a red line to start the workout.
Yeah. It looked like there were a lot of people that like did 3 or 4 flips, and then it was just like ghost face, and you're like, oh, that's going to be a rough workout for them.
Yep. So I think just putting yourself in a hole of, the strategy of like an unfortunate wreck, and then strategy into your next workout, like really combined together is rough.
Yeah.
And then now you have to battle all the way back. He also could have been sick the week before and been
for sure. Yeah.
And just been not been a bitch about it and been like, I'm not gonna make a fucking excuse.
That is one thing about him. Like, he seems tough as shit.
Yeah, and he still battled his way back. And finished like 12th or 14th.
You could just see though, so I went back on his Instagram to be like, because it just didn't look right, and everybody was commenting on it. So I went back to his Instagram and started like kind of scrolling through it to like see what he was looking like previous victories. And like his central nervous system had so much more pop in the previous 2 years than it did this. He just looked flat for whatever reason, you know. And like you could see, like he did that Bella complex at 355 at Rogue, and it looked so clean, and it looked like he was just like he had confidence and like legitimately testosterone. And like this time around, it was just like he didn't have that extra gear, it seemed like. And whether that was being sick ahead of time or like there's other speculation. I think he had like a concussion on the crash or something like that, which who knows. But yeah, it was interesting to see like how that first workout played into everything.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, it's just like you've won twice. You're expected to win. You're expected to do this. It changes. Not that he's cracking under pressure at all,
right?
But it just changes the way you approach things.
Yeah.
He's pretty in a serious relationship. That changes things outside versus it's all you all the time.
Yeah.
There's just so many different factors. And then also, to not take away from any of the athletes, everyone just gets better.
Yeah, for sure.
And like he might not have gotten better, but
yeah.
Jeff and Roman, just every year, just this much better, this much better, and they're closing that gap. Because when you're at the top, you only have so much to keep getting better, and everyone else can keep bringing the gap closer.
Yeah.
So I think a combination of all the things. Justin at the end of the day still did really well.
Oh,
he just didn't he didn't win, and
it's just like when you like coach running. There's a famous running coach up in like New York or something like that. I don't know his name, but he basically shows up to the track, watches his athletes run like a 400 meter. And then he tells them what they're going to do that day based off of what their central nervous systems look like, essentially how much pop they have in their step. And so like when you watch athletes long enough, like you can see when they have it and when they don't have it. And just this weekend, for whatever reason, it didn't look like he had it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, you have to have it on that week. It's important. I get it. I understand.
Yeah. But that's also like the crazy thing about how tight this sport is too, is like even with how talented he is, like he still has to be able to bring it. And that's the difference between, I don't know what place he ended up in.
It was like 12th or 14th.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far outside the top 10.
Yeah. But it's like, that's the difference between like probably competing for a podium or winning spot and like not having it. You know, there's like a 12 gap difference in that weekend, a 12 placement difference in that weekend.
But what's funny is like as much as like you change your perspective on it, he did so much better than 80% of the field.
Yeah, right. Which is more testament to like, damn, his floor is 12th place at the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's
you
cool.
Your comparison is you had a terrible weekend. And you finished just outside the top 10.
Yeah,
not bad.
Like there's 99.9% of people out there that will take that floor. Yeah. It's just it'll be interesting to see if like more stuff comes out about it, and like you obviously have the in-person perspective of just like the heat, the fueling, etc. And like that is kind of one thing I think that like it seemed like this year, I haven't gone back and like looked at any of the data, but it seemed like there's like a new wave of athletes coming up that maybe haven't been to the games like 4, 5, 6 times now. And I think every year for like another year or two is going to be like a learning experience for them of like, oh shit, like I got to fuel like this, I got to recover like this, like my calories need to be like 10,000 now versus like my normal 8,000 in a competition weekend. Like, and like you really, I mean, obviously you saw on the podium, like it was very experienced athletes. Like Roman's been in the sport for a while. Obviously he's only been in the games twice, but like Brent, Pat, Jeff's been around since 2017. Like all these guys have had a lot of experience at competing and at the games.
So. Well, so like, exactly. I will say this though, every year it's still a learning experience for those guys.
Oh yeah.
So like Pat could have been in the lead during the week for a while or just a few points behind Roman. Like when Roman was on his march. Yeah. If he hadn't chased Fikowski on the alpaca workout on the final rope climb.
Oh.
Fikowski was like, okay, let's press it. And then Pat was like was in his lane next to him and started pressing it too. And Brent ended up going, you know what? I'm going to take a second. Roman's winning this workout. I'll take second. Yeah. And took his time. Okay. Pat pushed it a little too early and ended up failing that rope climb. It dropped him 15 spots versus a third place finish. Yeah. Oh, it could have been more. It might have been 20 spots. I don't remember where he finished. It just like, but he couldn't do it. It took him like I think 10 minutes to do that next rope climb.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he kept trying and kept failing.
Yeah. It's like that'll.
It's just a learning curve. It's like understanding like those young athletes don't understand like this is where I need to, you know what? It's more important that I lose 2 spots versus losing 20 spots.
And honestly, like racing is an ever evolving process, and especially in this sport, like you don't have a watch that's telling you like, oh, my 400-meter time is this on this lap, or my mile time is this on this 5K. And CrossFit is like so chaotic, and that's like one of the things that we're trying to help people at the camp this weekend is understand the chaos of the sport so that they can race better. But it's like it's an ever learning process, and even people at the games make mistakes like trying to push it too hard too early or whatever it is. And like that I think is another kind of like takeaway that I had from the games was if you knew how to race well for your body type, you did extremely well at the games this year. And I think kind of the layout of the guys' podium or the top 5 in the guys really spoke testament to that. Like Brent's great at racing his race. Pat obviously like kind of messed up on that workout, but he knows his body well, knows what he's good at, what he's not good at, and what he can push on. And then Jeff's a great racer, honestly. Like he had a great weekend.
Yes, so, he is.
And like again, he didn't start in the top, but he crept his way back up and just had consistent races the whole weekend.
The one thing I think people should look at with Jeff's performances, he redlined a lot less than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's very important at the games. This isn't semifinals where you try to almost redline in each workout because you can recover at 6 workouts.
Right.
You have 12, 13 workouts at the games, and they're all a lot more volume. If you redline day 1, you're in trouble. Yeah. And a lot of them redlined on day 1.
Right. First workout of day 1. Yeah.
And that's an experience thing. Is like understanding. I think Jeff was in the. What did he take on the pig? He said, he was one of the guys that said like he felt like he was at a red line in the pig flips.
Oh wow.
And backed off and realized like I've got to chill out.
Yeah. I've got a whole weekend to compete.
Yeah,
with.
and took I think he took 27th on that workout.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not what I want to start with. But if he had continued trying to fight and push through that, like his week would be different.
Yeah,
yeah. Just understanding, hey, like I need to back off. I can push to 90%. That's it. Don't fully go to that red line. Otherwise, your week's just done.
Yeah.
And the young athletes don't really understand that. They're like, oh, let's go. Let's everything. Nope, that's bad. You need strategy the whole week.
Yeah.
Strategy the entire week.
Yeah. Well, I think some of these young athletes too, like they're the best athlete in their gym group, training group, whatever. And like they can come out and just like beat everybody inside of their training group. But then when you're competing against the best in the world, like it's not going to happen on every single workout now. Like you've got to kind of play that game. And like it's almost like you find your pacing pack and then you try and race inside of that pacing pack. And like wherever you finish inside that pack is kind of where you end up placement wise, you know? And I think that's going to be a huge learning experience. And when some of these younger athletes figure it out, because their capacity is just wild in this sport, when they figure that out, like the level of competition is just going to like exponentially explode again. So it's going to be fun to watch that, but it's going to be wild. So what'd you think of the tests this year?
I liked it. I will say I had my bias of last year's. I liked it better, but I also would have done really, really well at last year's events. This year's what I did like is there were more functional strength, like functional tests.
In regards of like
the implements they used, they were much more functional.
Okay.
And so that made it cool to do some of the workouts.
Yeah.
Especially like the team workouts might be my favorite games team workouts they've ever had.
Man, they killed it this year with the team.
They were phenomenal.
They were great.
The only slip up I think that could have been changed, and it was also because it was pressed for time, was the team's very first workout, which was the skier, rope climb, and overhead squat workout that they did. We tried to we just had to run out of time, and we were trying to test that for the timing of how many calories on the ski and the legless rope climb. Can the girls make it? Will they blow up? Blah, blah, blah. And the overhead squats. And they had 175, and then you could finish the workout on the intervals. Okay. And I was like, no one will ever touch that.
Yeah.
No one will ever touch that. So we tested that with 15 calories on the erg and 12.
Yeah.
And it was funny that I wrote that one workout with the parallel handstand, push-ups, deadlifts, and ski erg like a month ago.
Okay.
And
right? For the session,
And it was similar in the sense of like timing. So I had a like idea of like, look, guys, this is not enough time to go and get these overhead squats done. There's no chance, especially with this big of a field. You have to travel, and then also girls are relying on these legless rope climbs. And
was it to a 15-foot rope?
14.
14. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well,
2
foot higher.
Yeah. And you're still doing seated legless.
You're still doing seated legless, right. And you had to hammer the ski. So when I did when I tested that one, the 15 calories I was doing in like the first round I did in 29 seconds, ignorant. But they were still, the girls were like, Sydney is a top 3 best legless rope climber in the world for the girls.
Right.
So she was still waiting on me to finish skiing.
Oh, yeah.
And then other rounds were 33, 34, but consistently the same time.
Okay.
And, dude, we were nowhere near enough overhead squats.
Oh.
Like, nowhere near. And I was like, we got to change the calories down. So we did, and we tested it, like, quickly, but unfortunately, you didn't have enough time to, like, fully run through to make sure everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And the number should have been 150 squats. Which is what we talked about, but then also, as much as like it didn't look pretty because they want the finish line down there, the barbell should be moved up. So you don't, the transition, you don't have a choice. You just go instead of, if you give the athlete a choice in that workout, they're not going to run to the barbell.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Right.
Like, as much as you want that to happen, they're not going to do it.
Right.
Not in that type of workout.
Yeah.
So bring the barbells up so they do hustle to the bar and get going, and they would finish. And then if you had that, you might have a couple teams race to the end and finish at the end because they could get that many squats.
Because you could still, like, I know they want to like move down the floor, but like to your point, you can still have round 1 is here, round 2 is here, round 3, round 4, and it still looks appealing to the camera, but you just get more work in during that time.
So I think that might have been the only one of the only big flaws I saw, but the workout was still a good workout, and people got wrecked, and it exposed people that couldn't do legless rope climbs
for sure.
with skiing. A team made the girls ski first instead of legless rope climb.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a mistake because one of the guys was just like, I'm not good at legless rope climbs. I'm like, yeah, but you're still better than the girls.
You're here, your girls are here.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate for them because I think they missed out on the last 2 rounds.
Oh,
because they couldn't get the rope climbs done. But it was a great first test. Hey, look, here you're smoked. You're done. You're not able to manage our test. For a team, you have to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So I really liked all the team workouts, especially the bob pull that they made. That Rogue made that. Katie and Bob made that whole thing, for Rogue, and that was such a fun event.
I think some of their best workouts came out in 2014 for teams, like Fantasyland. You're like doing pull-ups off the back of the bob, and like that was a sick workout. That workout like goes up into one of the top 10, top 5 workouts for team of all time. Like that was a sick workout.
We tested it, and I was like, Boz, I can't express to you how much fun this workout is, and I can't wait to see what this looks like. Just the teams. I mean, even the first workout with that big deadlift bar, they brought it back. Yeah, it was a great test. Yeah, they did a great. They hit the nail on the head for that. Yeah. Overall, though, the only thing that I personally think should be changed or done better is they had 2 barbell workouts.
Yeah. Yep. And one of them both of them were after the cut line. Like, that was kind of, I think that's probably the consensus online. But like, to have such a major part of your kind of like testing body just be like non-existent before one of your cut lines that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough when you have a specialist gymnastic workout, but no specialist weightlifting.
Right.
And that's, I mean, it's fine to have a specialist in the beginning, but you have to make it rounded. So they're a little biased, but overall the tests themselves were great tests. Yeah. Just maybe 1 or 2 implements changed out, and
that's always going to be like the hard part is getting the order right too, because you don't get to see the whole weekend play out prior to going to the weekend. So like you have to kind of like retroactively be like, oh shit, we did have 2 aerobic testers and a gymnastics specialist test and no barbell beforehand. Like, yeah, it was a strongman sandbag workout, but that's not the same as like genuinely letting them go and snatch and clean and jerk and then putting those athletes up the leaderboard.
Yeah. The one other thing I think people always have a problem with is sled stuff. However, they changed the way the sleds were implemented.
What do you mean? So what do you mean by
pulling instead of pushing?
On which workout was that?
So like the individuals did the Coliseum pull.
Yes. Yeah.
Changes the way friction is.
Yeah.
Nobody had a problem.
Right.
The teams, they did have to push a bob. They're used to it. They also had to pull a bob. Yeah. They had to change the way they moved it, and it took a lot of our sled doesn't move well because of the bottom or whatever, or the turf lanes are different. They're not. We tested every lane.
Not out at Madison. There's no way, because it's a turf field. Out in Carson, 100%. I can speak testament to that. They are different out there. The sun hits the field different. It's grass. It's dirt. Like, yeah, right. When you have an actual turf field, like the consistency across the turf
was consistent.
Yeah.
And if there was any inconsistencies where like maybe like the line of the turf wasn't met, they went and fixed it. We went and tested every lane multiple times. Yeah. So like they found a way around the issue of friction for sleds for the majority of it. Yeah. I mean, people can always complain about it, but they found a way to do it well and make the test fair across the board. Yeah. Yeah. And then they also changed from like last year. A lot of people had a problem with like when we did the shuttle to overhead workout. The platforms are different, right? So Helena this year, everyone like the lanes to get out of the stadium, you had to travel further if you were outside. So they staggered like a track run to adjust for that. Right. So like they definitely listened and fixed that, and which was great. Yeah. I mean, it was fair. It was 100% fair. Yeah. Personally, though, I'd be like, I still would rather have been in the middle lane.
I think, well, so it makes it fair for the first round, right? But then the second and third round, you're having to run.
They added all of the distance for each round and
And-
put it in the very first round.
Oh, interesting.
So just as if you were running a mile or a 400 or whatever, they put it in the beginning. The only problem I have with that is you have to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
On a track if you have that distance, like you've moved forward, right?
Yeah.
And in this you didn't. You can just cut across.
Okay.
So what you do as a racer is, okay, if I'm in the middle and they're on the outside and they're up front, I'm just gonna gun it for 3 seconds and get right behind them.
Yeah.
I've already closed my gap.
Right.
And now the next 2 rounds, I have that extra.
Yeah.
Bit.
I think it would have been more fair if they had done dumbbell placement. Like once you get off your bar muscle ups.
I think that's what they had originally thought, but
Okay.
I don't remember why it was different.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a I'm
yeah.
sure there's a reason.
Yeah. I think when we tested it, it was like that.
Okay.
And then they ended up switching to the people being shifted.
Yeah.
Maybe for the looks of it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's an interesting thought to like try, and they do that in track, right?
Yeah.
Like you're on a 200, like you're lined up completely different on a track. So
no matter what, it was definitely a progression in the right direction of fixing
Right.
fairness.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
Yeah.
So I think they hit a lot of marks and improved. I think they improved upon last year.
Yeah.
I just have a personal bias to liking the workouts of last year a little bit better.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, they were all good tests.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
They should have just added one more lift though for the maxes.
Yeah. No doubt. Always.
Always.
Trying to think. Yeah. I don't. You have any other thoughts on anything, or?
I mean, I got a million stories.
Yeah. Maybe we can do another podcast on those
Yeah.
stories.
I got a million.
Maybe do like an extras, like go live and Griff just story time with Griff.
Yes. Yeah. All the blackmail. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. Not really, but kind of. But seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to watch to find out what it is.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just it's all around good time. The one thing I would say to anybody if they ever got the opportunity is you're an idiot if you don't take the opportunity.
Oh man, it's got to be such like I mean just from like a marketing standpoint, connections, networking standpoint, like you learn the ins and outs. If you're an up and comer, you get to see everything. Like it's such a great like awesome opportunity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It also humanizes everyone that works there. Like a lot of times we look at CrossFit HQ as this like totalitarian
Yeah.
thing.
Right. Right.
And they're all just humans that are trying to do the best because they love this sport.
Yeah.
And like some of the head judges are like incredible humans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if Boz was like, I need you to come fight this person for me right now, I would go do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
But like Denise and Todd and then Chuck, they're all phenomenal judges, and there's so many other people that work behind the scenes that nobody knows that how hard they work just to make a week go well for the fans and the athletes.
Totally.
And they don't ask for any glory. They don't ask for anything. They just do the work all week and struggle through it. And they're, like I said, they're there later than we are.
Yeah.
They have to go and sit in the war room and have meetings about everything. And maybe they got yelled at and chewed at out at night and they're exhausted and just want to go sit down.
Yeah.
But they show up and keep putting their best foot forward every single day. And I wish a lot of people got to see that. I think they're doing a behind the scenes documentary on the demo team stuff. I don't know if they're what part of that they're releasing.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for people to see what really is going on behind it.
Yeah.
2 people that nobody get any credit for is Bill and Katie Henniger that own Rogue. Mm-hmm. Dude.
They kill it.
They are there before their workers.
Yeah.
And they are working all day long doing the same shit everybody else is doing, moving equipment around. Like they're just a regular human.
CrossFit, I think it was CrossFit or somebody put some stuff out on them back in like the mid tens, and it's like those 2 are like such hard workers, and there's a reason that Rogue is as big as Rogue is. Like they are intelligent and they kill it, and they're like so humble too. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yes, dude. Yeah, I know. There's just so many people that really deserve to be like appreciated, that do all this work, that don't, and then they're always the ones on the other side just getting like, well, you guys didn't do this well and you didn't do that well. And I'm like, but they did a million other things right.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone can take constructive criticism, but like all you idiots on the internet that just talk shit,
like you try and run this.
come meet me out back, dog. Like I'm about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always one thing like looking in and being like, oh, you should have done this better, you should have done this better. But like, man, some of the behind the scenes stuff, like people just don't understand logistically what it's like to, I mean, like running a camp here, and like this is a shout out to like all local competitions and stuff like this too. Like getting the schedule right is one of the most difficult things you could do in the world. And like they nail it every year. And like they have deadlines with ESPN and stuff like that. Like they're not like, to just have the schedule right is a feat in and of itself, and they don't ever fuck that up. Like, and then you have all this other stuff that's going on and coordinating all these people. Like it is a hard task to ask, and they're doing their best for sure, and they do have some pretty amazing people behind them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to
yeah,
all the volunteers.
story time with Griffin to follow.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. As always, please give us a follow. Give Griffin a follow. Give some of our athletes a follow. Like and subscribe if you guys have not. And we will catch you guys next time here.